If you hear me!
Everybody knows wants to know. You don't know me, you don't know me. Everybody knows wants to know. You don't know me, you don't know me. And you don't know what I'm capable of. Capable of. And the next heavyweight championship of the world. Everybody knows wants to know. You don't know me, you don't know me. Everybody knows wants to know. You don't know me, you don't know me. Everybody knows wants to know. You don't know me, you don't know me.
I think this is fake.
You can't say that.
I can say that.
Wrestling's not fake!
It's still real to me, damn it!
The unscripted, uncensored, loose cannon of commentary. This ain't WCW. This ain't Monday Night Raw. This ain't SmackDown. This ain't even WWE.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
The recognized symbol of excellence in sports entertainment.
You're listening to Marks on Commentary.
I love how Jason Tweet's podcast has begun recording and we haven't recorded shit yet.
Well, it technically has. I pressed the record button, but you guys kept yapping.
Welcome to Marks on Commentary. I'm Eddie Brophy.
I'm Jason Smith.
I'm Catherine.
Now, are we leaving that part in or should I disregard it completely?
Leave it in.
We're tweeting in real time, but we're not exactly recording in real time. Half of us aren't sober and the other half of us can't drink.
You decide who is who.
We all know I'm the designated podcaster.
I think we should do an interesting Twitter interaction where we have listeners try and guess what beverages Jason and I are drinking, although more nights it's more obvious what I've been drinking as opposed to Jason.
Yeah, I drink the sissy stuff.
Of course he does. It's sad when I become the only real man on this show.
I don't have to worry about that contest because I don't have a penis.
Well, if I can discuss sissy drinks for a moment, and then I'll time it into it takes Catherine an hour to flip through the 6 or 7 page Kowloon menu.
Hey, you know what? I was busy talking and I wasn't paying attention and I'm indecisive, okay?
Our waiter was so angry with us, he just stopped coming to our table.
You really did.
He disappeared for an hour.
Well, I'm sure when he threw the fortune cookies at us and the bill, that was his way of saying, get the fuck out of here.
The restaurant was empty, though.
We had been there for like 2.5 hours.
Well, for those of you that don't know or haven't read Catherine's blog at marksonblogging.blog.com, this is why the blog doesn't get a lot of hits, it's because I can't pronounce it correctly. Catherine, in vivid detail, described our night out at Kowloon. Now, Catherine, if you would like to take our listeners through the sort of play-by-play of what went down on Saturday night.
Sure. So I had kind of mentioned earlier in the week that, there was a live show in Boston, and it's kind of, common knowledge that after shows in Boston, everybody goes to Kowloon. It's just one of those things that happens, and I've never been because I'm still a newbie to this, and we decided it was some sort of rite of passage, and so we were joking about doing it, but then we realized none of us have lives and actually wanted to have plans, so we did it.
That speaks volumes about Jason because he does have a fiance.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he has a life. Let's be honest.
She works late hours anyways.
I would love to coerce Jason's fiance into a night out with the Marks and see how well that transpires.
Oh God.
Should be petrified.
No, so Eddie and I met and we had coffee, which was fun, except that neither of us should have coffee that late at night.
or sit in vacant Dunkin' Donuts parking lots discussing where we're at in our lives.
Yeah, it's just a lot of word vomit that doesn't end very well. But so then Eddie had the jitters and I was wide awake, and we decided to go to Kowloon early because Jason was like, "Let's go there really late,"
which would have been the better idea.
Whatever, we were fine.
It was a school night.
It was.
For who?
Well, I worked the next day, Dick. So
I did too.
And I live far away from you guys. I had to drive like 45 minutes home after we stopped hanging out.
Well, Catherine's story is becoming too epic. Transvestites. That's the moral of the story. Transvestites, vampires, and a lot of meth face. That's what found out on a Saturday night around approximately 11:45.
You're leaving out the most important part of the transvestite story, which was that Jason knew one of them.
Not personally. I knew of them.
Wait,
No,
wait,
you
wait,
said, "Hey, I know them."
We don't exchange Christmas cards.
No, I may have had a suffering bastard or two. When did I miss the part where Jason knows transvestites?
They came in and they sat down, and he was like, "Oh, I know that one."
I said I think I know that one.
I want to do a YouTube documentary behind the mark, and I want to follow Jason around because, mind you, one of these transvestites looked a little more convincing than their counterpart, and
Yeah.
that happened to be carrying around a stuffed monkey. I wasn't about to go over to the table and start asking questions.
I forgot about the monkey.
To say though that this has started a very interesting trend in my life where I've seen more transvestites in the past week than I have in my entire life. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that has something to do with the fact that my Facebook profile picture is me in a wedding dress. But
Which is
I will say that
glorious.
at my thrift store job, we did have a few transvestites come in during the week. So they weren't carrying stuffed monkeys. So I don't believe they were the same transvestites in Kowloon, although one of them may have a crush on Jason. Apparently he's very close with them. So
The fuck?
I will say, I think I have you topped still, Eddie, because I used to work in a retail store, and it was my job to do bra fittings. It was mostly old ladies and/or transvestites. So I got to know a lot of transvestites, very close and personal. And it's a time of my life that I'm having a hard time moving on from.
now, is it really bad if I add in that there was a young boy? Well, first off, there was some asshole in a Camaro, I believe it was, just literally riding donuts around the Kowloon parking lot.
God, terrible.
So we know exactly how insignificant his genitalia is. He was, I guess, chaperoning a young child who
Looked more of a douche than his older brother or whatever it was.
looked like a Make-A-Wish candidate, which I'm not making light of, but it would somewhat noble him in the sense that he was such a little douchebag that I'm going to come right out and say, I hope you had cancer.
Yep. Eddie's opinion of you is slightly higher if you have cancer.
Because that sort of behavior in a civilized world is unacceptable.
Not to mention he had the blonde Justin Bieber haircut. It's not a good look for anybody.
Hey, before we get too far, I'm mentioning why I know the transvestite. It's not going to be something people tweet in. Why do you know a transvestite? I work in...
Please, everybody, hashtag Jason knows transvestite.
I work in public access television. She did some weird fucking show in the Boston area and passed it around to different stations. We would get them, she would come in, and it was like, that's the transvestite.
Now, I used to work for one of the biggest rock radio stations in Boston, and I've had my fair share of interesting calls, namely a man who was on a permanent acid trip that thought he was an angel. Still does not compare to the morbidity, if you will, of being in a public access studio after hours with Jason. In the sense that at any given moment, any one of Jason's transvestite friends could come in and join the original incarnation of Marks on Commentary. I am opening the doors, ladies and gentlemen.
Tearing down secrets. Shh.
If you are a transvestite and you would like to get closer to Jason, hashtag why does Jason know transvestite, feel free to reach out to us.
I really hope that just takes off on Twitter.
I hope
Oh, God.
not.
Now, that could be the title of the show, hashtag why does Jason know transvestite?
No, that's not. This will pop up in my feed and my mother will see this.
That's the best part. Oh, God.
And then Mrs. Smith will be asking her adorable son, we need to have a talk.
Well, then I can tell, like, Dad knows him too.
Oh, Jesus Christ, like father, like son.
Which is true. My father does know the transvestite.
Oh, God.
Because she worked at the same plant that my father worked at.
Oh, goodness.
Now, getting away from Jason's sort of extracurricular activities outside the show. Now, we already knew this, but it was confirmed while we were at the Kowloon. I always want to add an S to it. Hannah said Kowloon. And I always want to add an the to it. The Kowloon kid. That Survivor Series will, in fact, be taking place at the TD Garden this year. Tickets go on sale this Saturday. I believe the free sale is already up and running. If you would like floor seats or loge and you have a disposable income, which we do not, hence why I still sound like I'm in a fishbowl. So I came up with the idea, because we're trying to think of ways outside of Twitter to get more listeners to the show. So I developed a contest idea. If you are going to be attending Survivor Series this year in Boston at the TD Garden, if you happen to get a sign promoting Marks on Commentary, whether it's you just print up a giant ass logo that we have, or you just at MO Commentary, or listen to Marks on Commentary,
Or even crayon on a piece of lined paper.
and you are able to get your sign on WWE television for the pay-per-view, and send us proof that it was on television, because we'll most likely be there in the cheap seats and we won't see shit. Send us a screen cap, and you, my friend, will co-host an episode of Marks on Commentary with us. And then you can ask the hard-hitting questions. I will even add this as part of the contest. If you make a sign, it's clever, it's awesome, it's original, it gets on WWE television, it's proven that that is your sign that you got on television, you can personally come on the show and ask Jason how he knows transvestites.
Yeah, definitely.
Hashtag why does Jason know transvestites? So that's contest number one. We are chock full of other contests to show, but we should actually do a show outside of Jason's extracurriculars. And
Can we just say before we get away from it, but moving on from the transvestites, we weren't there in vain. Dolph Ziggler was there at Kowloon. We just did not see him because we were terrified of small children.
Oh my God, the almost Beatle-esque sort of reception that Ziggler got from the teenage girls was something that I think we had even all asked each other if, 10, 15 years ago, did wrestlers get the same kind of reception from that particular demographic? I said yes, because I went to Kowloon in 2000 after King of the Ring, and the Hardy Boys got equally, if not more, of a reception than Ziggler got when we were there.
Yeah.
And then I was surprised by the amount of small children who were excited by him. And I kind of, all I can think of in my head is that, without John Cena, the next person the kids are going to latch onto is the next, relatable face. And it seems like kids aren't really attaching themselves to Daniel Bryan as much, at least not from what I saw. It looks like they were attaching themselves to Dolph Ziggler. And maybe they would have had the same reaction to Daniel Bryan, but it was... The amount of them in Dolph Ziggler shirts was frightening.
But it was a lot of females, a lot of young girls, so...
Well, that's because Dolph Ziggler's attractive.
Well, that's my point, is
Can I just throw out how creepy that sounded coming out of Jason's mouth? There were a lot of females, a lot of young girls.
I don't know, what do you want me to say?
There were young females, or there were young ladies between the ages of...
Yeah. Anything I say is going to sound creepy after I said I know a transvestite.
I am actually more surprised, honestly, of the number of Bray Wyatt shirts and sheet masks I was seeing.
Yeah, the small child in a sheet mask was, I think, the most frightening thing.
Now, was it his sheet mask or his mom's meth face? Because there was a lot of meth. I remember at one point wanting to mess with the crowd and start screaming, "They're over there!" and start pointing at the Hooters across the highway.
Yeah.
Apparently that was our, and of course too, if you're going to the show, my guess is we will be attending Kowloon.
Post-show.
Yeah,
we've discussed the idea of doing some kind of recording, but we'll see. We'll you guys tell us if you're interested in participating in the show.
Because Jason proves claims to be such good buddies with the owner of Kowloon.
I know him. Me and Donald Wong.
And all the transvestites that frequent his establishment. I'm sure we can work something out.
Yeah.
Again, you have to sound like that after a statement. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll make it work.
Now, moving along here to Monday Night Raw, because this is actually wrestling related. Overall opinion of the show, I know I was live tweeting as was Jason, although I think my tweets are a little more popular. Even though it kind of occurred to me that I was kind of just bagging on the whole show the whole night. I don't really discuss anything really wrestling related other than hashtag the big sob, and asking our Twitter followers to tell me what they would name a Lifetime movie featuring the Big Show. I'm sorry. And one person argued with me on Twitter and said, it's not okay for him to cry when he punches out Daniel Bryan, but it's okay for grown men to cry after they win the title. It's never attractive when a wrestler cries, especially if you're Kurt Angle winning the title at No Mercy or the Big Show winning at Survivor Series.
Because then you have a booger in your nose?
Yes. Oh my God. Jason, I think you should find a screen capture of Kurt Angle.
With the booger?
It was so bad.
I'm so proud of myself for knowing that reference, though.
We should find like a highlight of terrible like boogers and snots in wrestlers' noses.
I honestly think that, and I did want to do this. Two things I asked fans to do, which they have not delivered, and you're all dead to me. I want someone to create a meme of overly attached Heyman, because we've reached like creepy ex-girlfriend territory with this angle between him and Punk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
No, you're absolutely right, but at the same, like, it's so creepy that it's fascinating, and I don't want to look away.
They've I don't know. They've almost done this feud ass backwards. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because they started with Rock and now they're going down to Curtis Axel. Like, that doesn't really make any sense to me.
Unless the plan is to get it back to Brock, which I certainly hope it is. But I don't know where this is going, and
Unless at Night of Champions, Brock's out of the picture, or even not, you break it down to Punk finally, because it's a elimination tag match. So obviously, he takes out Curtis Axel. Now it's Punk and Heyman in the ring. Theoretically, you have one potential Heyman guy that can come to the ring, and that's Brock, to set up a following match between the two. Or you could even throw a curveball and have RVD come out. That's where you insert the crickets noises, because
hey, TV tracks, we got one.
I need to know shit about wrestling. Take two.
I don't know. I just feel like he's too busy with the World Heavyweight title right now, and he's over. They don't have enough guys that are over.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is this it for Paul Heyman guys, though? Because right now it seems as though what happens between Punk and... Because according to the advertisement in Boston for Survivor Series, it looks like Daniel Bryan and Orton will probably be one of the headlining matches, as well as Punk and Heyman still going at it. So how do you keep this thing going? Because my guess is they're going to want to save a Punk Brock return match for a bigger pay-per-view. I mean...
Because there's still 2 more pay-per-views after this one, right?
Yeah.
There's Battleground and some other one.
And then there's Hell in a Cell.
Hell in a Cell, that's it. I don't know how you delay doing anything else. I don't know. It feels ass backwards to me, like...
Well, how do you do this match and then go to Battleground? Now, what do we do with Battleground? Because that's the thing, too, that confuses me, because it's like bragging rights. When bragging rights came out, it was essentially Survivor Series, and then followed by... Survivor Series followed bragging rights, and then there was no elimination matches at Survivor Series, which is essentially what the whole pay-per-view is based around.
Yeah.
Like, you build this pay-per-view around a couple of, like, elimination tag matches. So, I mean, what's Battleground? Like, what's the gimmick of Battleground? Will it even have a gimmick is my question.
I feel like it has to.
I almost want to say, like War Games? Like, and they scoffed at the idea of WWE doing a War Games match, but...
I love the idea, but then if you're going to go to Survivor Series and do 5-man tags, it doesn't... It's like... I don't know.
Well, count the number of years where they've actually done the traditional Survivor Series tag matches. 9 times out of 10, it's either 2, a Raw and a SmackDown that headline. Like, I feel like the last definitive Survivor Series, and I could be wrong here, was 99 when they did... The whole card was essentially almost all Elimination Survivor Series traditional tag matches. Which is probably why that was one of, aside from the Invasion one in 2001, why that was really the only Survivor Series that stood out. Unless, of course, you take into account the Survivor Series where Michaels won the title in the then newly created Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just figure if you're introducing new pay-per-view, it's got to have a gimmick of some kind. We're getting used to gimmick pay-per-views. I mean, they have been talking about doing away with Hell in a Cell because...
Which I think is a good idea.
Huh?
I think that's a good idea because...
It's a brilliant idea because why have a pay-per-view called Hell in a Cell and have 2 Hell in a Cell matches and then that same year have Triple H and Undertaker in a, surprise, Hell in a Cell match?
Yeah. You force your talent and current storylines into the Hell in the Cell as opposed to letting your fans be surprised when it happens.
Now, in terms of other things based on Raw, other than I would love a highlight reel of the Big Show's best cry over the years. I will say there was I gotta start copy and pasting this stuff because we did have a Twitter follower who said the greatest thing of all time. I think the Big Show, and I'm paraphrasing now, I think the Big Show cried more knocking Daniel Bryan out than he did when his dad died and he had to jump onto the casket as being carried away.
I did read that. That was hilarious. Oh my
I'm
god.
upset that I have to fake punch my friend in the face then when my dad fake died.
Yeah. I don't like. I don't know if you guys watched SmackDown. I thought the way they did, the whole yelling of Big Show and bullying Big Show on SmackDown was done much better. Clearly, they couldn't do the same thing on Raw after having done it on Friday. But like he was forced to sit at ringside and watch all of his friends get beat up, it's like torturing Big Show. I get it. I understand it. It's clearly leading to something big with Big Show. Get it? But I don't know. Like it's just he's not good at crying. He's not good at being upset. He did on Friday. He did the Ryback version of being really angry, which is just when you hyperventilate and shake a lot, which looks more like Parkinson's than anger. But
I love that so far. Tonight has been the most
terrible.
Tonight has been the most offensive show we've ever had. Not only have we taken a swing at transvestites, now we've brought the Parkinson sufferers.
Hey, you said your kid looked like a Make-A-Wish candidate, so.
Oh man, I forgot I wanted a kid to get cancer or have it.
Yeah.
So you'd have a better opinion of him.
Well, I don't really want this. He was just kind of a little D-bag. Anyway, now I've lost my train of thought because I'm such a bad person. I find it funny that you picked the Big Show as the one who gets bullied because, and I'm not saying that, the people who get bullied are always the pencil necks or whatever, but it just seems kind of silly that the Big Show is the one that's crying and, don't hurt my friend. It's like, dude, you're a giant. What are you doing?
I will say I did like the way the one redeeming part of the segments with the Big Show was I really liked the segment between, I hate to say this, but Stephanie McMahon and the Big Show.
I liked it because it was as good as, say, Jericho and Punk when they were going to Mania, where Jericho outed his family as being an alcoholic and drug addict.
Yeah. Well, because it was the you have nothing else but this. If you don't get to wrestle, you have nothing else. Yeah. And I think that was the only bit of, I guess, reasoning that they've given Big Show in the last couple of weeks. Well, of why he's there, why he's going along with it. Because everyone's been yelling at on Twitter and stuff and being like, come on, the Ironclad contract. That was the first time that anybody said anything or acknowledged anything in the programming.
It's continuity, too.
Right.
I was just going to say, Jason, do we have a sound effect like Pee-wee's Playhouse when they say the word of the day? Because today's word of the day would be WWE continuity. That's the word of the day. WWE creative actually, I know, I'm getting lightheaded just thinking about they actually showed. They actually went back a year ago and went, hey, remember when we did this whole angle that never went anywhere? Let's bring that back.
Yeah.
I was going along with this whole continuity thing, I was kind of waiting for Katie Vick to be brought back up at some point during one of these angles. Well, nothing else, you got that Katie Vick thing. Change the necklace, bring that back. No, I mean, it works. I hate to say it, but if this is the reality TV era of WWE, it does work in certain contexts to include a superstar's personal life, whether it's kayfabe or otherwise, or taking certain facets of their life and turning it into kayfabe.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like there's always been a certain amount of that. They've always taken things from their real lives and worked it in, whether it's because it's already hit the media or because it's easier for the superstars to react to it, and it makes for better television because it is real life. But
no, I got your TV tracks clip right here, right now. It just occurred to me. Everybody shut up. This is brilliant.
All right.
If Triple H acknowledges on Thy Kingdom Come, his new DVD, the rumors and the dirt sheets about him burying people backstage and taking immense pride in burying certain superstars, where at Survivor Series, the match between Orton and Daniel Bryan is a, you guessed it, buried alive match, where Triple H does the duty of burying Bryan. Bam, irony creative.
I'm not opposed to it.
It'd be hilarious.
It would be hilarious because it's something that when John Cena acknowledged the 5 moves of doom on live television, I marked out because it was like, oh my god, he broke the fourth wall for real. We exist, we're fans behind laptops. If you could take, it was when, and it was ill-fated when they were coming out with the shirts that said hashtag heel or I have heat or whatever it was, and people were like, what are you doing? We don't want fans walking around with wrestling jargon on their shirts, and why is WWE licensing this stuff? Or Cena sucks shirts. Why would it not be kind of hysterical if you have a buried alive match between two superstars, and one of which isn't the Undertaker. So, oh my God, this match might actually be unpredictable. And then you have the match end where Triple H doing what he supposedly does best, is burying somebody.
It'd be funny.
I'd love to see it.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, you can 978-276-9418, or you can just bitch about me on TV Tracks or on Twitter, which is what you're all good at. However, hashtag minus Jason No Transvestite.
So sticking with Raw and kind of, the parallel storyline, what did you guys think of what happened with Cody Rhodes?
I liked it. It gave him a shot to be...
I loved it too.
You loved it too?
I loved it. Oh my God.
I think all the female audience loved it.
Hashtag it's still real to them, damn it. The number of people, especially that I was talking to, who were getting so angry when I'm like, yeah, well, they're showing Carl Jr.'s ads. Maybe that's it. And one female fan, and yes, we do have female fans, who mentioned they were showing Domino's commercials, right? Yes. I think they should just do a series of Cody Rhodes trying to assimilate into a world up. I think that should be your build-up to Cody Rhodes come back, is just have him doing all these odd jobs at like fast food joints and stuff like that.
Isn't that like Shawn Michaels before he returned to DX in the cafeteria?
Not even that, just like actually go to a McDonald's and have Cody Rhodes serving the fries and use those as vignettes, and have Triple H put Triple H in a position where he's more of a jackass and have him going to all the places he knows where Cody Rhodes just got a job and gets fired from that job.
That would be funny.
Hey, this is Blackbeard Fam here on Twitter. I think he deserves better. Cody Rhodes should be pushed more in the WWE as he is now, but it's just a storyline, and Cody Rhodes is getting married, and I wish him happy ever after, and I hope he has a good honeymoon. His career in the WWE is not over, and maybe Cody Rhodes will get somewhat of a WWE championship title shots, or maybe get back the Intercontinental Championship.
I will say my favorite part of the entire thing was like the interview they did with him before he like walked out of the building while he was getting escorted out by security, and he was talking about the McMahon family's had it out for the Rhodes family for such a long time. I just loved that he did the whole like they covered my brother in gold paint and he's never been the same.
Yeah.
Like I laughed so hard at that. It was ridiculous.
But he played it so well. He said it perfectly.
Oh yeah.
Why I love that one, honest to God, actually, was because I'd even mentioned someone. They're like, well, what do we do with Cody Rhodes now? And I was saying, what should Cody Rhodes do? And someone was like, he should come back as the new Goldust. I said, fuck that, have him come back as Devin. And it tied in with the promo that Dustin Rhodes did at WCW when he came out as Devin, and basically did a whole, it was a work, but he did a shoot on how Goldust ruined his career and how he keeps getting stuck in these stupid gimmicky type characters. Why not have, and I know one of our callers had said, Rhodes will he'll probably be back at Battleground. Why not have him come back with his father and Goldust at Survivor Series?
That'd be cool.
Yeah. What better way to take down, the biggest wrestling family there is, the McMahons, than with the second biggest wrestling family there is, the Rhodes family.
It's almost a shame that Shane isn't available.
I know, right?
Well, a lot of our listeners did point out, and even I went, ooh, when I read it in the dirt sheets, was that Shane has stepped down from his company.
I heard he stepped down, but he didn't step away.
He didn't step away, but he did step down, which, I mean, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I mean, we all want to get excited and mark out for it. Personally, and I agree with someone, I can't remember if it was one of our Twitter followers or just one of the dirt sheet comments, where somebody said, legitimately, Shane McMahon's actually a really good wrestler.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a high-risk wrestler. I mean, he was high-risk before the Hardy Boys got big.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see Shane back in the ring. I mean, he's older now, so I don't know if he would want to take the bump, and I don't even know if he'd want to be affiliated with the company anymore. But if they were to bring Shane McMahon back in any capacity, you got to get him in the ring at least one more time.
But imagine that, like the Rhodes family. You got Dusty, you got Goldust, and you got Cody against Shane, Vince, and Triple H.
I would go as far to say that no one wants to see that match. And they do, but I almost want to say to be more realistic.
But if it was like a street fight?
No, get Goldust, get Dusty, and get Cody, and have them go against the Shield. It's an even number.
Okay. That would work. I would love that.
I mean, why have... I get the angle of having the two biggest wrestling families, but why not have one of the biggest wrestling families against the team enforcing the other biggest wrestling family, and then try to bring in some bigger stars to the main event. And not to say that those three aren't big stars, but let's face it, Cody's still, they're grooming him for something huge on the horizon. We just don't know what it is. And Goldust will always be a personal favorite, but let's face it, the WWE has never handled him well.
Right.
And obviously Dusty is not, an active competitor. He's at an age where he's not able to do the stuff that made him like a tour de force years ago. I don't want to go as far to say the person I think Dusty's, like, dare I say, is the Shockmaster. And that's a joke, please, with the cricket and the hate on TV tracks. But no, I would love to see at least some threesome take on the Shield.
Yeah.
Prove why they're the enforcers, because they're the enforcers. Yeah, they go in the ring, they beat people up, put them in a match with your antagonist, which at this point, if the Rhodes family make this triumphant return, which they probably won't, but it all looks good on paper, hashtag hire us, I think that would be the match for them to have in Survivor Series. Or even
one of them.
Yeah, even at Battleground. We're not even at Night of Champions yet, and I'm already wondering, like, what the hell are they going to do leading into Survivor Series?
Yeah.
Because, not to say because it's in Boston, it's got to be huge, because it might be mediocre at best, but why waste one of your hottest... And this is arguable, because I do think New Jersey's a hot crowd. I think Chicago's a really hot crowd. And someone had said something to the effect of, what was it? Oh, God, they were accusing Boston of being racist because of something that happened during the house show. I can't remember what it was now, but people were bagging on the Boston crowd, and it's just, they broke down the USA chants or something like that. And they're like, oh, well, that's why Boston's such a shitty crowd. Yes and no. Boston's just a very vocal crowd. It's not uncommon to go to a concert in Boston. And for example, I went to a 311 concert years ago, and a Yankees sucks chant broke out for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've also found that Boston crowds are normally incapable of chanting things in unison. Everybody can be yelling something, and everybody in the crowd will be yelling something, but asking them to all yell the same thing at the same time is nearly impossible.
Yeah.
So
Boston's too headstrong.
So
which is probably why the Fandango thing didn't come back to Boston the night after that awesome Raw.
Right.
So which is why when we go to Survivor Series, Catherine will be chanting Miz, Jason will likely be chanting Punk, and I'll just be yelling Kowloon.
Piranha Man.
I don't know. We've already said that between Eddie and I, whoever catches sight of Dean Ambrose first gets to tackle him. So
no,
that might affect who we're chanting for.
I had listened to an interview on a different podcast, and screw it, I'll plug them because they're nice guys. Hopefully they'll show some love, because I do believe Mike does listen to the show. Mike and Billy, they did interview Roman Reigns, and he did say the worst thing about their entrance, and they love their entrance, is that people are constantly trying to fuck up their entrance. Enter Catherine.
Hey, no, I don't. There's a difference between fucking up their entrance and a quick grope on the way by. That's all I'm saying.
And by that we mean Dean Ambrose mysteriously disappears, is gagged and tied in a closet somewhere.
It's probably me.
And Catherine fashions the Big Boss Man attire and stands in between the other two members of the Shield, looking at them like, what?
No, dude, if I had Dean Ambrose tied up in a closet somewhere, I wouldn't be out making the entrance.
No,
Just saying.
She'd be sending Jason to do that.
Yeah, Jason can do that. I'll be in the closet with Ambrose.
And if enough transvestites attend the show, we know Jason's going to get a pop.
I don't want to be that guy that gets like, oh, Jason, he loves transvestites. I'm happily not married yet. I'm engaged to be married. Please don't make me the fan of transvestites.
Which simply translates into, until there's a ring on his finger, his options are still open.
And she is actually a lady, so we know he's not into that for realsies.
Well, I've never, mysteriously, when I go to these babies, I've never met his fiance. So,
she works a lot.
She can have an Adam's apple the size of my fist. I don't know. No, she's I have seen pictures. She's a very lovely woman.
Thank you.
Hashtag saving face. Anyway. Oh dear God. But apparently Mark Henry was supposedly injured at this house show. I don't quite know how, but
hamstring, I heard.
Yeah, but he has just been cleared to wrestle again.
Yeah.
They did the MRI and it came back negative, so he is supposed to keep going, which means I don't know if they're going to work him back because he was supposed to be tagging with Big Show. So I don't know if they're going to try to work him back into that, or if they're just going to come up with something new for him since they've moved Big Show onto something else.
That's my guess. Is they're gonna move Big Show onto something else?
Well, probably considering that he took out Daniel Bryan at the end of the show, I would be the least bit surprised if they try to do what they did with Cena during the Nexus era, and they try to basically hold Big Show hostage and make him part of their team.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It definitely seems like that's where they're heading with it. But thank you for the Nexus reference. You made my evening.
Oh, screw you. Moving on here,
you back.
Jason, well, do we really have to mention Ted DiBiase here? I think this is like enough.
We just need to say, yes, it happened before, but he left. I liked Ted DiBiase. Screw you if you didn't. I just thought it was interesting because of what's been going on between Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, and then, like, Ted DiBiase left. So it's like, all of Randy Orton's people that used to be his friends are now gone, because John Cena's gone, and they're gone, and Randy Orton's all alone.
You know the Cody Rhodes thing was what they call a work, right?
Shh. I know. It was a...
He's not really fired, like...
I'm well aware. I'm just saying, like...
You try
every time they do, like, something like this, you always sit there and you go, oh, well, who used to be his tag partners that could come back and save him or whatever. And when you look at, like, a lot of the guys that Randy Orton has had kind of long-standing partnerships with are gone for one reason or another right now.
Well, Jason, you try explaining the fact that it's a quote-unquote work to the Dusty Rhodes fellow in the front row at Raw, who, his reaction, bar none, was by far the greatest thing that happened on Monday Night Raw this week. And
what is this? I missed it.
There's basically a gentleman probably about my size in the polka-dotted outfit with the headband, who literally looked like somebody just shot his mom in the face after Cody Rhodes lost the match. It was almost up there with Miz Girl or Brock Lesnar guy, who Jason's trying to get on this show. Yes, that was a cheap plug.
He said he's game, but he won't follow us on Twitter.
It seems to be our issue. People say yes and then don't actually do it.
Like, I'm like, I want to direct message you so I don't have to say stuff out in person. Oh, yeah. Nice guy. I hope he comes on.
Brock Lesnar guy, if you agree to come on, the transvestites are all yours for a night. Now,
Jason will make a few phone calls.
Now, Jason had brought up some questions, which I urged him to attach the number to on Twitter. Jason, would you like to repeat your two questions?
Sure. Late night of bed, I can't sleep, my head races, and one of the thoughts I had would now be the time for Zack Ryder to rise from his obscurity again, because you can kind of go play off the whole what's best for business, and he can kind of position himself and be like, well, I thought I was best for business and you guys didn't see it that way, and I've been shoved down the card. I think it's a good way for him to kind of break out of his, silly character and kind of take on a more serious role.
Which he seemed like he was fixing to do, but I noticed when they were plugging some endorsement deal they had that the hair was spiked again. Who's behind, who is pulling the strings of Zack Ryder now? Because he started to launch this campaign on YouTube that he was going to try to get over, and he was going to try and change up his character, and then sure enough, he's stuck in these, the only time he gets on TV is for, Subway or some endorsement deal that they have.
He's the Funaki.
And he's back in full Zack Ryder gear again. In theory, it would work, and I think if done right, it could be somewhat compelling. And again, I'm still lobbying for a new job squad.
Celtic Broskies.
Here's the deal. I told Catherine this. I think that Jason should reach out to Zack Ryder, and we should campaign, if we get Zack Ryder on the show, for him to pitch Celtic Broskies, the creative.
And Sheamus.
And we will... I think this could be a thing. By Survivor Series, I think we can get to Celtic Broskies. Woo, 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 fella.
I thought Sheamus was out for 6 months.
Sheamus is out, yeah. He's not back for another couple of months.
You know what? These guys really need to wrestle as long as he's just there.
They've been plugging so hard for the Los Matadores, which is, oh my god, that they might as well just start plugging now for Celtic Broskies.
I love the fact that as soon as I said, oh, it's Primo and Epico, like, half the people were like, wait, what? Well, Edge is coming back. How funny is it that this tag team's being, promoted right around the time Edge is going to return to plug a show he's on? Los Conquistadors, anybody? I mean, Christian has been saying one more match. Maybe we've been misreading this one more match thing.
Edge just stands on the turnbuckle.
Sí, senor.
Gun. I'm really excited to see Edge again. I know you guys aren't the biggest Edge fans, but I've said before, like, he's one of the big reasons I watch wrestling. Like, he was the one who got me hooked. And I met him right after my birthday this year, so I'm a huge Edge fan. I'll be happy to see him. I mean, clearly it's not going to be the same as when other guys come back, because he can't interact in the same way that he used to, but I'm still looking forward to it.
Because I know that he's essentially going to come out, he's probably, 10 to 1 says he's going to come out, he's going to open Raw, he's going to get a pop because he's Edge, he's going to plug his show, he's going to call Daniel Bryan down to the ring, and he's going to basically do the same crap he did with John Cena. That's why I'm not excited, because it's no different than you buy a ticket to go see the Rolling Stones. You're essentially paying for the name on the ticket. You're not paying for what you're actually going to see, because what you're actually going to see is going to be really disappointing and full of shame and just depression. I like the idea of Edge being in a WWE ring in any capacity, even though he can't wrestle, but I know that this is more or less USA's or Sci-Fi Channel's way of promoting a show he's on.
Yeah. I mean, if they used it and they were like, oh, we kicked the shit out of Edge,
yeah,
I'm fine with it. Like, you don't even have to show me. You know, pull the old, Shawn Michaels bloody on a car.
I was just going to pull that one, yep.
Or the beat down slightly off camera behind a box backstage.
Yeah.
Or the choke slam onto a mat, which clearly you could tell when Zack Ryder bounced back up.
Hi, guys.
Or go as far to put a rattlesnake in his dressing room and just have him come out in makeup. The snake bit me.
Oh man, wasn't there a terrible one with R-Truth and John Morrison? Where, like, John Morrison was supposed to be coming back from his neck injury, but he wasn't fully healed yet, so they had him get beaten up again. Oh man, that one was dreadful.
I think I remember that one.
Or you could just have the Undertaker angle, which is you just tell Vince McMahon, I may never show up again. Fuck on that. Of course, that was hiding a long alien injury he had up until... I watched that match again. This is totally unrelated, but I was watching that Iron Man, that whole pay-per-view, actually, Judgment Day from 99. Or 2000, rather, I'm sorry. 2000. That was a really underrated pay-per-view.
I have to go back and look.
That was a really good show. Well, anyways, keeping it on topic here, Catherine has sent me the itinerary this week, which I'm still deciphering, like hieroglyphics. Book
It's not hieroglyphics. The hieroglyphics is the one that I wrote by hand with my parchment and quill, okay?
Oh, okay. Well, Jason sent. Well, Jason had tweeted out too. We did get one caller regarding one of the best Edge matches. Do we have that call available? Or?
Yeah, let me cue it up.
Awesome intro, anyway. Nah, Edge and Shawn Michaels, that was a good street fight for Edge and Edge movement, and hopefully Cody enjoys his break and his honeymoon, so he'll be back eventually. Probably around Battleground. Anyway, alright. Laters. Keep up the good work on Twitter.
Now, I have two things about that. Well, first off, do you guys have a personal favorite Edge match?
I mean, do the TLC matches count? Yeah, they have to, right?
It's his career. I'm not going specific to his championship reign. I'm going overall career here.
Yeah, I mean, any of the TLC matches are amazing. The Triangle Ladder match stands out as one of my favorites, like at WrestleMania 2000.
That was pretty good. I still would go the original ladder match between Edge and Christian against the Hardys. I mean, I still think as good as the TLC matches were, it was that first match that really was the catalyst for all four of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally go with Eddie. I think those are some of the best matches I've ever seen.
True.
Ever.
I mean, again, it's sad because that's essentially what ended his career prematurely. But Edge, here's my thing with Edge is I never really enjoyed, I loved him in The Brood, I loved him in Ministry of Darkness, and I just loved him with Christian. I never gravitated to the Rated R Superstar character. and I never really gravitated to like solo Edge as much as I don't know. It just he's been in so many great matches. I'm not going to dumb that down, but for me, it was the fact that he was an athletic guy. He could talk. Like I was saying, he was good on the mic. He was funny. He was charismatic, but he could do almost the same shit that Mick Foley was doing and almost do him better than Mick Foley did it.
Yeah.
Which is why I again, a lot of people said, him spearing Mick Foley through the flaming table at WrestleMania. It's a great moment because you take two guys that the careers were essentially till the end of time are going to be grounded in, like they were, showstoppers for the high risk they took and just the general health risks they took in the company. So,
yeah. And I think there's a lot of guys that look at Edge and then look at also Mick Foley and see, like, they had these fantastic matches and they had these great moments. But then when you see, like, the price that they've paid because of it, there's a lot of guys who have to decide which one they want to focus on. And I know there's been guys like Dolph Ziggler, sorry, getting off track, like Dolph Ziggler who said, that he puts everything he has into it no matter what, but he's kind of like acknowledged that maybe he won't have the longevity some other people have, but he's going to have those terrific matches. And I think that's something a lot of people learned from Edge.
Well, I mean, that's even another question for listeners, 978-276-9418. Quality of a match or the quantity of matches that you can have? I mean, what will you remember more, the Hulk Hogan's or the Mick Foley's? Are you going to remember someone who had better quality matches in terms of entertainment or in terms of athleticism? Or are you going to remember how their longevity, essentially which matters more to you as a fan, is longevity or quality of a match? I mean, Steve Austin, for example, Steve Austin didn't have as long of a career as Steve Austin probably could have had, namely because of the Owen Hart injury from Survivor Series where he took that pile driver. But I would say that despite how short his career was, in terms of what it could have been, the quality of Steve Austin's matches were phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Totally agree.
That goes for Taker, because Taker, I mean, he can still go, but you can tell. I think people should start demanding Taker hang it up, because it's not that he's not a good performer, it's just that his body, I mean, I do want to actually bring this up, and I'm totally jumping around here, but at real Hugo Boss, since it caused him to have around 15,283 back surgeries, that's exaggerated, as the Hogan leg drop, the absolute worst finisher of all time, Undertaker's knees are busted out because of the tombstone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other thing. Think of your finishing maneuver in terms of what it does to your body. I mean, that's enough reason alone, aside from Hell in a Cell matches and everything else that Taker has done, where his body's just beating this crap now.
Yeah. I think, yeah, they might not be as flashy as some of the other ones, but I think some of the best finishers are, when sometimes you look at a finishing move and you go, like, there's no way that he's going to be able to keep that up. Like, when you watch, like, CM Punk back in the Indies, he had the Pepsi Plunge, which is pretty much the pedigree off the top rope in the corner, off the top turnbuckle. And, like, literally every time I watch a CM Punk indie match, which I'm obsessed, I've watched a lot of them, every time I see it, I think, oh my god, he's like, no wonder he changed it, his knees are going to give out. And
he never actually addressed it either, because I know someone did tweet him asking him if the reason why he never used the Pepsi Plunge was because of Triple H. And I think he may have alluded or even I don't remember, that he did say that he didn't want to blow out his knees or something to that effect.
Yeah.
That sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah. I mean, even now, like, a lot of times he was doing the elbow drop as well off the top, and he's had to cut way back on that because he's had his elbow scoped at least once or twice.
Like I said, Orton, I was a fan of Orton when Orton was doing top rope moves. I think it was Pat Patterson. I could be wrong, but on the DVD he mentioned this, that it was either Pat Patterson or Arn Anderson that told him he couldn't do that anymore because he wasn't built that way, and that he was actually shortening the length of his career by doing top rope moves, which is difficult because, to be honest with you, Orton isn't really a grappler and he's not really a brawler. He's really stiff in the ring.
Yeah.
So to kind of almost limit his abilities almost kind of makes him a boring character. But I agree that the less aesthetically pleasing looking finishers, like, dare I say, Chris Benoit's cripple face, that was one of my favorite finishers. And same with Ken Shamrock's ankle lock, which of course Jack Swagger stole after Kurt Angle stole it. When Shamrock did the ankle lock, in matches where like The Rock would bleed, and they were just like, oh my god, he's gonna snap his leg. Watching that, you really were like, oh my god, maybe he is breaking this poor guy's leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But to answer the guy's question, I don't think it is the worst move because it's general. It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's generation. It's different every generation because, it's like the first guy to make bread. Hey, I made bread. Here you go. It's good, right? Okay. Hey, I made bread. Here's cheese. Isn't it better? Yeah. Okay. So you could, you know what I mean? You keep evolving something. You got to top the last thing. Like,
Well, think of going along with that. Not to interrupt you, the Stone Cold Stunner.
Yeah.
A relatively simple move. Orton doing the RKO. I mean, more people are going to say, that's not the stunner, that's the diamond cutter. Whatever, diamond cutter or, stunner. Relatively simple moves, but it was made better by the fact that someone jumps off the top rope and Orton catches them midair and does the RKO.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with Jason. I think generationally speaking, there's a move for every generation. For Jason and I, Catherine's generation, or probably more so Jason and I, it was the stunner. For people before us, it was either the Hogan leg drop or the sharpshooter even.
The elbow drop.
We go way, way back. And yeah, it's just sweet chin music. Like, yeah, every generation has it. And again, I want to say stunner was our generation, but our generation could have just as easily been rock bottom, people's elbow, or pedigree.
Yeah. So let's just say to turn the question around, what do you guys think is the best finisher that there is either right now or in the past 5 to 10 years, kind of the newer generation? What do you think is the best one, either because it looks awesome or because it's really popular? What do you think is the best one right now?
978-276-9418. I back that. I think that's an awesome question. What's the best finisher we've had in the past, say, 10 years? And keep in mind, too, that I would say that when John Cena came up with the FU, I thought that was an awesome finisher because it was a literal FU to Brock Lesnar, who had the F5.
Yeah.
Here's my F5. Well, screw you. Here's my FU.
Yeah.
I'm actually mad that they made him change the name to the Attitude Adjustment. Same with the STFU, which they short STF, which is its given name. But yeah, oh god, there's a few moves now. Even though, like, I don't know, Ziggler stole the Famouser. I love when he does that move, and Michael Cole calls it the Famouser.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure there's a more technical name for that, but the shout out to Billy Gunn is phenomenal.
Yeah. I will say I'm really sad that he's not in the WWE anymore, and Eddie will echo that. But I will say one of my favorite finishers of all time, just because it was so much fun to watch, was Starship Pain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Anything Morrison did, and I'm so mad that they made Morrison so cookie cutter after showing Kofi. Because I swear to God, the markout moment of the Rumble in Boston was when he got knocked off the apron and like landed Spider-Man style on the
yeah, that was amazing. I watched that.
It took about like 10 seconds for everybody to realize too.
Like,
hang
on, he's not out, dumbass.
Yeah.
Well, it makes me mad because that was a markout moment, and then for the past 2 Rumbles, the markout moment was kind of diluted to, let's see what Kofi can do with that.
Even this past summer, they had the Battle Royal, which they did the other Kofi Kingston move. I don't know if you caught it. Which was it? How did it work? He flipped over, was it Cesaro, to do like a sunset flip who was hanging on.
Yeah, didn't he crawl over Cesaro?
Yeah.
I almost mixed that up when he got knocked down and he used the rolling chair to get back in the ring.
The pogo stick.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one. But again, like, they kind of dumbed down John Morrison because John Morrison, like that parkour stuff, it was actually really well done.
Yeah.
In the context of WWE wrestling. So I'm kind of lost in terms of our itinerary here. We had a book advert that we could play for everybody.
Hey, this is Bobby Blaze, and you're listening to the podcast of Marks on Commentary. This is Bobby Blaze, former Smoky Mountain Heavyweight Champion and former WCW TV Champion, calling in to plug my new book, Pin Me, Pay Me, Have Boots, Will Travel. It's an autobiography about all my wrestling career, traveling throughout the world for the last 25 years of my life. And I know you'll love it. If you're a wrestling fan or whether you're not a wrestling fan, you'll still enjoy my insights into the world of professional wrestling on Marks on Commentary. Have a great day. Enjoy your podcast. Thank you.
All right, I'm happy with that. That's a nice plug for us, a nice plug for him. Hopefully we'll be able to get him on the show.
Former WCW wrestler Bobby Blaze.
Now, do we want to kind of dabble into the bigger content? Well, I wouldn't say the bigger, but one of the first contest ideas we have in mind now.
Sure.
Absolutely.
So, at the beginning of the podcast, Eddie mentioned our Survivor Series contest we're doing, but our contest that we're going to be starting right now, we'll go for, what do you guys think, 2 weeks?
I think give it a short shelf life. Give it about 2 weeks.
Yeah, so we'll give it 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, we're going to announce the winners, so you guys have to submit your entries before then. If you guys are 18 years or older, then what we want you to do is go to YouTube and post a video of yourself or your friends or do a huge production, and just say why people should listen to Marks on Commentary. Plug our blog, plug our Twitter, plug our podcast. The more creative you guys are, the better. Clearly, we're funny people. We like humor. You'll probably get bonus points if it's funny. But then send it to us either through Twitter or through Facebook, and we'll take a look at all of the submissions, and we'll decide which one we want best. We like best. We will repost it on our blog. We'll repost it through our Twitter, which we have almost 5,000 Twitter followers, so your video will get seen. And we have a grand prize. I'm super excited. It's going to be a wrestling mystery box, which will have mystery items in it. And one special gift will be a t-shirt handcrafted by us, Marks. Can't promise it won't be done with Sharpies, but it will be amazing.
Autographed.
What Catherine's alluding to is that more than likely it'll be crafted by Catherine with our names on it.
Yes, that is what I'm alluding to. I have a box of Sharpies, and I will make you a t-shirt.
A one of a kind.
Kind of like when you're 26 years old and your parents still buy cards and presents for your nieces and nephews, and because you're so dirt poor, they just add your name to the card. That's essentially what I'm going to add here for what Catherine's probably going to do with this t-shirt.
It's going to make you... What are those, like... What's that, like, gel that, like, comes out? It's like the old 80s stuff.
The puffy paint?
Puffy paint, yes. You'll get a puffy paint t-shirt.
I will throw it out there. If your video is awesome enough, I will use puffy paint on your t-shirt. Possibly glitter glue if you're nice.
I'll even throw another one that if you happen to be a transvestite. I'm not going to go there, never mind. But yeah, if you are 18 or older, because obviously we do want to make some disclaimers here in that if you do win, we will put together this amazing wrestling box. And I kind of want to make comments about someone's mom's box, but a wrestling box.
It's a mystery box. We promise that it will be a box, not an envelope, so that's a guarantee there will be stuff in it.
Goodies.
Otherwise, you are giving us permission to use your likeness and your name and suches and whatever. For a podcast, we don't make any money. We would like to, eventually. This is our way of trying to build a following, but also show our listeners that we appreciate whatever you can do for us in terms of getting us listeners and help build our fan base and make this thing kind of take off. So if you feel like I really like you guys, I like the show, I want to help you, we'll be more than happy to get super creative. Again, I know Jason had posted and I confused the hell out of some poor sap. I just got like a whole donation box of old school WCW WWF toys, not WWE WWF toys. Granted, they're all beat to shit, and I think someone used fake blood on most of them, but that could be something that potentially ends up in your box or your girlfriend's box or somebody's box.
Did you say girlfriend's box?
I did.
That's terrible.
We are TV.
Keep it clean.
Keep it TV PG. Be a star, Eddie. Be a star.
But yeah, I got some legit WWE DVDs that I can throw one in. Some decent. I'll give you something decent.
Yeah, you'll get decent stuff, and you'll get submissions from all of us Marks. So it won't just be me putting it together.
I want to throw this out there because it's the perfect time for an obscure reference. I give it a week before Jason realizes he put one of his favorite wrestling DVDs in your box. And then Paul Rudd style tries to chase down FedEx or whoever, like overnight delivery style, and tries to retrieve the DVD that he's taken away, and then bumps into a Sarah Silverman type character, probably a transvestite, who he insulted on the show.
I like how you went overnight delivery and not like road trip. Like go for the more obscure, like chasing a postal service truck down movie.
Well, and Jason will like this. Obscure reference. At the end of the movie, there's actually a conversation between Reese Witherspoon and Paul Rudd about Kevin Smith, Jason's favorite filmmaker, where Reese Witherspoon gave her honest opinion she's not a fan. Hashtag, why does Eddie know this stuff?
Oh, goodness.
Yep, that just happened. I don't know why, but it did. There was some BSR stuff that I wanted to tackle, but before we do that, I want to promote the blog, marksonblogging.blog.com. We can use all the feedback we can get. I actually want to know if you guys are actually reading this. Can you please call the number or tweet us and be like, hey, I like this one. Well, we know Jason so far is the forerunner for people that like the blog.
Yeah. Just let us know, like, either through Twitter or through the voicemail. Just be like, hey, we really loved Jason's DVD collection, thing. Like, we want more of that. Or, we loved Eddie's rant about his ex-girlfriend and Matt Damon and how much he sucks. Or if you loved crazy stories of us going to Kowloon and getting attacked by small children, we can make more of that happen. We just need to know what you guys like, what you want to read, and what you guys want from us. So just a shout out would be awesome. Let us know what you like.
If you hate it, let us know.
I want to go to Twitter now, @MarkinOut. If you were to start your own, I think but it says our own promotion around one wrestler.
Sorry, I retyped it. That's my spelling mistake. Don't make fun of that. It was me.
If you were to start your own wrestling promotion around one wrestler, who would it be and why? That's tough.
I mean, everybody knows, like, the obvious answers.
Well, yeah. I'm guessing Punk is a huge one. Ziggler is probably a big one. Bryan.
Yeah.
Can I start my own promotion around 3MB?
Actually, no. I think the promotion, the MTV one, was it? What was that called, Jade? I know you know. The one with X-Pac and Raven. It was on MTV, and I actually loved it. I'm so mad that it only lasted like 2 episodes.
Oh, Wrestling Society X?
Thank you. Wrestling Society X. I think that Wrestling Society X would last longer than Catherine's promotion.
Hey, I'd make it work.
Actually, I just saw, like, the season of that for like $10 at Newberry Comics. I might have to grab that.
They actually, they had a whole season. Like, I legit remember watching it. I think I saw 2 episodes, and then it just disappeared.
Well, MTV didn't care for it.
Yeah.
The company MTV tried to be like, well, we'll put out the last episode as a pay-per-view, a half-hour show as a pay-per-view.
Yeah, I'm not, I have a lot of trouble paying $60 to $70 for a 3-hour WWE pay-per-view. I am not paying $40 to $50 for a 30-minute show.
That's terrible.
I mean, you would literally have to light a man on fire and beat the hell out of him with kendo sticks or something with nails attached to it, or shoot him in the face with a nail gun for me to be like, oh man, $30, I'm in.
Yeah.
And then have sex with him. I don't know why I just said that.
See, just watch the CZW pay-per-views. They're a hell of a lot cheaper, they're a lot longer, and there's a lot of barbed wire, so...
Well, this is like 8 years old, so...
Doesn't matter.
Well, now, Jason, who would you build a wrestling company around?
If I can pick anybody, I think I would pick Brock.
Now, they didn't say, though, if this was past, present, or whatever, because if you go from the past, obviously, I'm assuming that's from the present. If you were from the present, you would say Brock?
Yeah, I mean... I think he's one of the most notable people. Like, yeah, you could go Rock, but he's kind of past his prime. I think he's one of the more notable, besides John Cena, but even he's starting to, flicker. I think Brock is like a star that can transcend more than just wrestling.
I have to think about this one because if it's present, I'd want to go Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
If I were to go any decade, and oh man, this is gonna be one that's gonna confuse a lot of people. Brian Pillman.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I just want someone. I would want someone with intensity who could play a really good character, but could also go in the ring. But really, if you're in the business of entertainment, it doesn't matter how good. I mean, Lance Storm is a phenomenal wrestler, but he wasn't very entertaining.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's nothing against Lance Storm. I'd love to have him on the show, and I would just love to talk to the guy because I am and was a fan. But the whole angle with Steve Austin coming out with a pillow and snoring during his matches, I don't think that it was like a secret that Lance Storm, he was a great in-ring technician, but he wasn't very entertaining, which is why the fans never really gravitated toward him.
Yeah.
I mean, it was essentially, here's this guy, and he wrestles, and he's a great guy. Even Ken Shamrock at times. Ken Shamrock was one of my favorites growing up, but there wasn't a whole lot to that character.
Yeah. That's when a manager is effective.
Oh, if Ken Shamrock had a manager, oh, hell yeah. I mean, when he was in the corporation, he did pretty well, but if Ken Shamrock had a definitive manager, he probably would have done a lot better.
Yeah. I mean, my thing about, creating the promotion around someone, like, as tempting it is to try to grab someone like Ziggler and be like, you're the face of our new company. I joke when I say 3B, but I feel like it would be more, like, it would be so much more awesome and a lot more fun to build something that around one of, the mid-carders or the lesser-known guys that are kind of like, they're never gonna move higher up. They know that, we know that, WWE knows that. So why not give them a chance to really do something in a completely different capacity?
Well, look at Wrestling Society X, and it's more direct towards Jason. X-Pac looked like he was groomed to be the star, and I believe the last match I saw was he won a number one contendership ladder match. I think.
Yeah, I believe so.
He won a number one contendership match for the company's title, and I mean, Catherine gave me an X-Pac action figure that, funny enough, she didn't know. I've been searching forever for that action figure. X-Pac was and still is one of my favorite wrestlers during a specific era. I mean, I loved him as 1-2-3 Kid, but I loved him as DX X-Pac. You were building a company around a guy who had what they now call X-Pac heat. I mean, I think you could take in Catherine's ideas as a mid-carder and build a company around because they're a good character. They're a likable, relatable character, or they're just a heel that you want to boo the shit out of.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, clearly he's higher up in the WWE now. But I think the idea of Dean Ambrose is a really good one because, I mean, he's just, like you said, he is very intense, and he's somebody that you can rely on him to deliver a certain character, and he will do it no matter what state the company is in.
Well, I mean, I think Dean Ambrose, and then I say Brian Pillman because, and this is what told me as a Brian Pillman fan, other than his work in ECW and some of WCW and mostly WWF, was when he was in WCW, he wanted to do an angle where he was giving up, he was quitting the company, and he actually had Bischoff drop paperwork for his resignation or for him being let go, and that's the paperwork he used to actually get let go out of WCW to go to WWF.
Yeah.
Genius. That's awesome. Like, that's the guy you want working for your company. Despite the fact that I believe he took a shit. Was it ECW? He took a shit in one of, the TV trucks or something like that. That's another thing. I would love to have that guy work for my company. Yes.
I was just going to say, but we always throw out there that we need an intern or something for the show. If you're our intern, you're not allowed to shit where we record because we record in our houses. You're not allowed to shit in my house.
For the record, you have to get through my mom and dad. But also, out of the three, Jason's the only one that lives at home with his fiance. I kind of want to hang myself. Continuing on here. At Logan_Landley, if you could create a gimmick match, what would it be? I already have my answer. I'll let you guys go first.
Can we still do the Shrine of the Silver Monkey match?
Oh my god, the Punjabi prison with the assembling of the Silver Monkey. That wasn't what I was going to say, but that's still one of my top.
It's the best match you've ever come up with, so good luck topping it.
I got nothing. It's so tough coming up with an original match. Eddie's, I'm sure, is going to be funny. Am I correct? I don't know.
And dangerous.
Funny and dangerous.
I mean, it's not a creation because it's something they do in a lot of, I know they do them at CZW and everything. I've always been a big fan of the bring your own, the fans bring the weapons matches. Because I think they're hilarious, the things that people bring. And it makes the wrestlers think on their feet and be quick and, figure out how to use them and use them safely.
I think, Catherine, I love that idea because at Marks and Commentary, we're about tolerance. Now, I had us unfollow the shit out of a fan for saying that the best way to get over in a wrestling company was to # come out of the closet. Yeah, you got unfollowed because that's bullshit. And I had a lovely, semi-conversation. I was trying to get one of our Twitter followers to surprisingly vouch for Total Divas because he's a fan. He was a gay. I believe his handle was Gay Mark. Awesome. And keeping that in mind, to keep it diverse, if you're bringing your own weapon to a match, I want to go biblical. Bring your own crosses, bring your own Torahs, Shikoras, beat the hell out of your opponent with a Bible or some sort of a religious weapon. stone a man if you have to. My idea is a little more intricate. Now, if I may, because I know Jason may still be brainstorming. Now, we set the giant family double dare. You remember the nose? You're going to stick your hand up the nose and get the flag? And you had a
Yes.
slime that came out of the nose. Okay, that's the end of the match. Beginning of the match is the Inferno apparatus around the ring. Now, on the floor, on the mats, on the floor, is the green goo from Family Double Dare, and you are in a barbed wire cage. Now, if you are able to escape the cage and the barbed wire in the flames, and you don't slip on the goo and landing into the flames, which disqualifies you, you have to make your way to the giant nose by the entranceway, and you have to reach your hand up the nose to get the championship belt.
Can we just do Family Double Dare with wrestlers? Because that would be amazing.
I would want it to be a series. I would kind of want the McMahons to be the Temple Guard, and every wrestler, and make that the career match. The career match should essentially be you have to first off earn your pendant, so that's your way of earning your way into the company. And then if your team wins, you go into the whatever it was there, the temple with your pendant.
Temple of Doom.
And the Temple of Doom.
No, sorry, it was the Legend of the Hidden Temple. Temple of Doom is Indiana Jones.
And then you have a respective member of the McMahon Helmsley regime as a Temple Guard come out and try to take your pendant away. You would not want to be on Zack Ryder's team for this.
I don't know. Zack Ryder has a lot of free time. I'm assuming he's watched a lot of Legends of the Hidden Temple. He probably knows how to assemble the Shrine of the Silver Monkey by now.
Essentially, all of my gimmick matches, I mean, I would even go as far to steal from the, what was that show back in the day where you were in a grocery store and you had a certain amount of time to get
Supermarket Sweep?
I would want to take that with every awesome Nickelodeon show. Like, why in wrestling have we not had an aggro crag match?
Or can we, like, I know several of them have said on Twitter, can we have the wrestlers go on Wipeout and then, like, you have to make it through the obstacle course with the fastest time, and then the two people, instead of going through the last course, have to wrestle it out in the ring? That'd be amazing.
Now, we haven't heard Jason's idea. I'm curious.
Now I have to come with, like, the serious thing to pull it all together. I kind of always thought, like, maybe like a three-way dance where you have, you know, one submission guy, one high flyer, and then like a hardcore guy. Somehow work it in that you have to beat somebody else with their specialty. You know what I mean? Like,
And Jason is literally pulling from old N64 wrestling games where you have to steal somebody's finisher.
Exactly. But yeah, like you have a hardcore guy and he's got to beat you, you know, with a submission or a high-flying move or something. I don't know.
You just want to see Dean Ambrose try the 450 splash.
I do.
Is what you're saying.
That's it. You got me.
Hey, I was actually watching this match too. I kind of wanted to throw it up as like the match of the decade. Blue Dust versus Gold Dust. And the Blue Meanie actually pulled off the moonsault off the top rope.
That's all he could do. He's actually really good at it.
Quite literally, that was all that guy could do. I'm just like trying to think of like, that would be really humbling though if an opponent could do a finishing move better than the person who created it. Like if Triple H
Hasn't everybody done that when they've assumed the role of Sin Cara?
Oh man, I was getting into a Sin Cara discussion with somebody on Twitter. I just remembered like, oh no, I was saying that if CM Punk versus CM Punk in a match, it would still be a match of the year candidate. And someone was like, yeah, if Sin Cara versus Sin Cara, it would still be botch of the year. And some of the effect of like, yeah, because Sin Cara would botch the entrance off the trampoline thing, getting into the ring, inadvertently injure Sin Cara. It would just be a botch of the year candidate. Let's move along here. At Gander Row 14. Oh dear God. With Thursday Night Football going weekly this year, how will TNA react to that? Catherine's all over this.
Yeah, I really am. Because, this exact reason is why they started doing the Super Shows a couple years ago. And that was because Monday Night Raw was up against Monday Night Football. And they were trying to keep as many viewers as they could during football season by having as many superstars as they could do at once, having these giant matches. And you know what? They were pretty successful. They still keep pretty good numbers during football season, a lot of people flip back and forth. To me, there's no way TNA is going to be able to keep up. The only way that Monday Night Raw was able to keep up was during the super shows. TNA can't do a super show. They can't even hold on to their own people. And there's just no way that they're going to be able to compete with Thursday Night Football.
Now, if I can interrupt, because a friend of mine who may be co-hosting the show just revealed that Chunkies have revealed their free movie screenings for October: Ghostbusters, Evil Dead 2, Poltergeist, The Shining, Rocky Horror, Halloween, and he also posted a trailer for the new RoboCop remake. Okay, I'm done. Sorry, continue.
Moving on. And, I mean, I'm not sure how fans are going to react to Thursday Night Football, because it is a new thing. This is the first year that it's been weekly Thursday nights. And, you know, it's hard that they keep spreading football over the week. But when there's already Raw on Monday, there's SmackDown on Friday, there's Main Event on Wednesday, there's pay-per-views on Sundays, and then TNA already has, like, the short end of the stick when it comes to getting viewers. So by the time Thursday comes around, people don't want to watch TNA. And then people that don't want to watch TNA when there's football on. I don't think that TNA is going to be able to keep up, and I think it could be the last straw on the camel's back.
I'm going to go further here and say, how is Mark's on commentary going to fare during football season, namely given that only one of us on the show watches football?
Well, like...
It's not looking good, ladies and gentlemen. It is not looking good.
Well, I know I'm going to have to be missing a couple of episodes, because, like, the Patriots are playing the Jets on a Thursday, and I'm going to the game. Have fun without me!
Tisk, tisk, tisk.
You know, with Jason's resource of interesting potential co-hosts for the show, namely transvestites, I think will fare relatively well.
Yeah, you guys are going to get some, like, college-aged guy who sits in his parents' basement or has a fiance, and is going to be just as boring as the two of you, and all the listeners are going to go, what happened to the one with breasts? We miss her.
So if we get a co-host with breasts, we're all right.
Hence the transvestite.
Or a lot of heavyset friends.
Oh, goodness.
Now we're making fun of fatties. You see what happened to the show? Fat bashing. Be a star. Which leads me to my last topic for the night. JR and Triple H, both on their Twitter accounts, had to address the fact that Triple H's character, an emphatic bunny ear quotation mark now, character, is a bully. And Triple H had said something to the effect of, like, oh my god, I didn't know Darth Vader was a villain. Like, why didn't anyone tell me this? It's entertainment. It's fake. If you haven't realized that yet, Cody Rhodes fans, he'll be back. I promise. I'll put money on this. I will literally... You owe me 10 grand if Cody Rhodes comes back. I'm not betting 10 grand against you, though, because if he doesn't come back, I can barely pay Sally Mae.
I mean, we were talking about this last week, because Stephanie McMahon said something in return to someone making a comment about Ryback, and it's the same thing. I will say, like, I was watching wrestling with my dad on Friday, maybe it was Monday, and he was saying, you know, it's very weird that they have this Be a Star program, and then they have all this bullying, and, like, I tried to say to him, like, you know, it's just TV programming. He was like, oh, but they try to make it realistic, and, like, I don't know. It's confusing to me. I'm with you. Like, it's entertainment. You can't show someone how to not be a bully without showing somebody how to be a bully.
Yeah.
And if you don't have those bully characters set up and in place, then there's nobody who can fight them off, and you can't have good versus evil if there's no evil.
Now, if I can find it, I will post this. If anyone has seen the Mortal Kombat video where they talk it out, that's essentially what most of WWE programming will look like if you do this. I plan to write a blog about it, so I don't want to divulge too much, but 978-276-9418 or at MO Commentary if you have an opinion on this. Otherwise, check out our show, read the blog again, marksonblogging.blog.com. Anything else to add to the show? I feel like we covered just about everything.
I really just want to actually thank everybody for helping us reach 5,000 followers this week. That's fucking huge. Like,
it's huge, but here's the thing. We have 5,000 followers. I want more listeners.
I agree.
I think I trust me. I plan to start tweeting during Monday Night Raws and pay-per-views because I love it. I have so much fun talking with you guys.
It's fun. It's interactive.
Yeah.
When me and Eddie are tag teaming, it makes it so much easier too.
And you can tell with the exception of one of my
Sorry, my brain went places it shouldn't have.
What?
and that totally derailed my thought because all I could picture was me and Jason tag teaming with lumberjills in the form of transvestites around the ring.
Oh man.
Anyways, yes, it is.
Moving on.
Yeah.
It's a very good time. I again am lobbying for Twitter followers at First Door Sage because, well, frankly, I don't know how to use Twitter. I just kind of ignore it. So if you've written anything to me, it's not a diss. It's simply that I don't know what I'm doing.
Don't worry, we're working on it. I did make his Twitter explode yesterday, and it was pretty amusing.
That also sounded relatively dirty, Catherine.
I'm sorry.
Twitter explode.
I may have put a tweet out there about how I'm trying to convince Eddie to go to an indie show with me tomorrow, and I might have mentioned that people should convince him to come, and people tried to convince him to come, and it was amusing. I was excited. I'm not sure how Eddie feels about the situation.
I'm still trying to figure out how to respond to people.
Do time.
Thing work.
This is why we need a minion or a nerd or somebody to fix things. I just got a new laptop. Eddie's having a problem with his computer. Like, next Jason's is just gonna die.
Yeah, but I know how to fix a Mac.
Oh,
It's
look
true.
at
Macs don't break, except for mine.
On that note, 978-276-9418. Once again, I'm Eddie.
I'm Jason.
I'm Catherine.
Transvestite.
Balls.
Hey, this is Bobby Blaze, Smoky Mountain Heavyweight Champion and former WCW Champion, and you're listening to the Marks on Commentary podcast. I'm here to plug my new book, Pin Me, Pay Me, Have Boots Will Travel. Don't forget to listen every week, every day. Download as often as you like. It's Bobby Blaze, and I'm telling you, I'm setting the world of wrestling on fire once again. Enjoy it, Marks on Commentary. Have a great day.